Thank you, Katrine. So we're going to move to the next item on the agenda, which is item number 12. Item 12 is 260 Ingleton Boulevard, and we have a list of speakers here. So we'll start with Michael Donaldson.
I'm present.
Thank you. Next one, Philip Wilkinson.
Present.
Thank you. Sam Setti.
I am present.
Thank you, sir. Christian Chan.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair.
Good afternoon, Christian. You may want to check your audio volume while I go through the roll call. Tara Purko.
Oh, Madam Chair, I am present.
Thank you, Tara. Sean Mutia. Okay, so Sean Mutia, staff advises me, has not signed in. Sean, if you're listening to us and you wish to speak with us, please log in. Jubin. Jubin, are you with us?
Yes, I am here, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Just stay with us, please. Pamela Nazaret.
Yes, I'm on.
Perfect. Thank you, Pamela. Just stay with us. Desmond McLean. Okay, Desmond McLean, staff advises me, has not signed in. Desmond, if you're listening in and if you wish to speak with us, please join the call. Derek and Lynn. Okay, so for both Derek and Lynn, staff advises me that they have not connected. So Derek and Lynn, should you wish to speak with us, please sign in. All right, we are going to start with the application for item 12, 260 Ingleton Boulevard. And this is an application to redevelop the existing place of worship with a new two-story building. This was deferred on March 31st to allow the applicant an opportunity to discuss matters raised by the property owners, abutting property owners, and community planning staff. We have before us 4 variances, and we have with us Michael Donaldson. Michael.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, members of the committee. Should I recap the variances or just skip ahead to the subsequent discussion?
You have 5 minutes. Whatever you wish to discuss,
Sure.
I'm in your hands.
Okay, I think we'll just quickly cover the scope of the proposal. So as mentioned, this is basically a replacement facility for the ashram community. The process is currently in the second round of a site plan control. Submission is being considered, and we just received comments and are expecting to submit for third round. So a fairly extensive process has been undertaken. The 4 variances, I'll just hit them in the order that they're listed in the memorandum. So these are really all coming out of the fact that there's an exception to the site that has limited it to what was currently in place. And as the staff pointed out in the supportive staff report, each of these would really not exist if we were considering the as of right zoning. So we do view these as generally just technical. Item 1 is about the lot coverage, and again, this is below what would be allowed as of right. And while it may look like a bigger increase, it is really just to improve the function of the facility. The facility is actually going to be servicing the same community, and the most important space within that is the prayer hall, which is actually only increasing by a very small amount. The second is the building height, and again, while the current bylaw would limit it to 10.95, the exception to the bylaw that is, and we propose 14.26 meters. That 14.26 only exists in the very middle of the building, which is a skylight over the prayer hall. The rest of the building, the prevailing edge is just over 11 meters, very small, and the perceived height of the building will be virtually the same as what the existing height is. Item 3, regarding the parking spaces, 3 and 4 both pertain to parking spaces, and this is again coming out of the difference between how the parking is calculated and what was in the exception. So we're proposing 93 parking spaces, and the 2 different bylaws, the citywide and the Scarborough, both ask for a little more, and but the 93 that are proposed would meet the current citywide bylaw requirement in Table 200. So I'll jump ahead to just give a summary of what has happened since the last hearing. So we were able to have a very productive conversation with the representatives of the Class 3 industrial facility that was nearby, who had expressed some concern around the land use compatibility criteria. And staff did submit a revised report, which you all have and I'm sure have read. And through that, a condition was added that the owners would support. So we believe we've addressed that issue completely and satisfactorily for all parties. Regarding concerns raised by the neighbors, the members of the community did attempt to speak with some of the objecting parties, some successfully and some not successfully, but they did make an effort. We don't believe that any of the variances have any real negative impact on any of the neighbors. So we'd really at this point like to move forward. And I think I will stop there.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Could you just briefly shed light on your discussion since the deferral of the application with community planning?
Yes. So just to recap what had happened in the previous hearing was that we weren't aware of the concerns of the industrial facility until just a day before the hearing. So it kind of caught everybody by surprise. So we were able to have several conversations with community planning and with the concerned party, and through that, I think the questions of how the staff had determined that the compatibility study wasn't required have been addressed, because they've included an explanation in the subsequent report of how that was determined, and that the industrial facility was concerned that that be clear, especially as it sets precedent for other applications. So I think having gone through that with everybody, that community planning and us and the industrial facility were all satisfied that had been done properly and completely.
Okay, thank you very much. And you're aware of the community planning staff report and the conditions that have been put in or recommended?
Yes, and we've discussed, and the owner of the site has agreed that is reasonable.
Okay, thank you very much, Michael, for that explanation. Now, any questions for Michael, members of the committee? Member Taylor, please go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Michael, can you tell me, will there be any circumstances under which both floors of this building will be used fully by people at the same time? What I'm asking about is it relates to the parking requirements. And I'm just wondering if that's, maybe this is a question to staff, I don't know. Are the parking requirements based on the square footage of the building?
I can answer that at least partially. The parking requirements that we've actually used to calculate the proposed number is based on the size of the prayer hall, which is really the limiting factor for who will be there. Basically, everybody comes on a Sunday, and everybody present would be in that space at the same time. And that's the extreme case of people being on the site. It happens weekly. Pretty much between those events, there's virtually nobody there. So the parking is empty most of the time, and there was a parking study included in the application, site plan control application as well, and the documents here.
Okay, so when there's a prayer event, there's not going to be a community event at the same time?
Yeah. Typically what happens is everybody moves downstairs from the prayer event to have a big dinner together, and then go off on their way.
Okay, that's helpful. Thank you.
No problem.
Okay, thank you, Member Taylor. Member Gary, please go ahead.
Yes, just to the applicant. I did have a concern about height, but you say the 14.26 meters. You're saying that's just going to be located or going to be the skylight only, and then So a roof beyond that, around 11 meters, did I catch that correctly?
That's correct. The roof itself is at 10.8, and then there's a parapet upstand of about 1.5 feet on top of that, just to manage the water. And this previously had been one of the major changes that was made in the application through the site plan control process was to actually remove a story from the building to bring this all down. And the skylight is just kind of in the middle at the back. Yeah, that shows it. That shows it well. So it's set back substantially from the building edge, except on one side, which is really just to ensure that it does what it needs to do. You can see the screens, the mechanical screens as well. That are part of that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you for that clarification.
Of course.
Thank you, Gary. Any further questions? Okay. I see none. All right. Thank you, Michael, for your presentation. Now I will move to Philip
you.
Wilkinson. I understand he's the architect on the project. Philip, are you with us?
Yes, Madam Chair. Yes, I'm with the team representing the design architect, and I'll just defer, as most of the comments were by Michael, to the application and all of the minor variances for it.
All right. Thank you very much. Committee members, any questions for Philip, the architect? Okay, I see none. Thank you. We now move to the owner, Sam Sethi.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair and the esteemed members of the committee. I'm representing the congregation here at the ashram. I was about 10 years old when it was built, initially in 1984. And just over the past 37 years or so, I've seen how the building is aged, and we really require this sort of redevelopment. We've enjoyed a very healthy and a fantastic, actually, relationship with our neighbors. So I'm hoping that the committee will give us the approval so that we can go ahead and build this new facility for our existing congregation. Happy to address any questions if they come up. Thank you.
Sure, thank you. Members of committee, any questions for Sam? I see none. Thank you, Sam, for your time. We now move to Christian Chen, planner for the interested party. Christian, you're with us?
Good afternoon again, Madam Chair. Can you hear me okay this time?
We can hear you. Well, please go ahead.
Okay, great, thanks. So thank you, committee, for the granting of the deferral request at the last hearing. We had productive discussions with the applicant's agent, Michael Donaldson. We've had productive discussions with the City of Toronto staff, and we are satisfied with the condition that staff is proposing for the committee to impose in their should they approve this application, and we are now no longer objecting to the proposal and support it. And those are my comments.
All right, thank you very much. Members of the committee, any questions for Christian? Okay, see none, thank you. We now move to Tara. Tara is the counsel for interested party for Owens Corning.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to thank the committee for granting the deferral at the last Committee of Adjustment hearing on this matter. And I'm not going to rehash what Mr. Chan just conveyed to the committee, but should the committee approve the variances requested subject to the condition, I can advise that our concerns have been addressed.
Okay, that's great. All right, I think committee is pleased to hear that. Okay, all right. We are now going to move to Shan, who is the neighbor. Shan, are you there? All right. Shan, can you speak, please? There's a problem? Okay, so Shan, we see that you're connected, but we cannot hear you. Okay, so can we come back? Okay, so Shan, if you're hearing us, please try to reconnect. Sometimes the audio automatically gets fixed if you reconnect. So try doing that. I will certainly come back to you once I proceed with speaking with other speakers. Okay, so we now move to Jubin. Jubin, you're with us?
Lubin Georgievsky.
Jubin,
Yes, I'm here.
Perfect. Sir, please go ahead. You have 5 minutes to tell us what your concerns are.
Madam Chair and committee members, the main issue with our neighbors here is that even though Michael Donaldson said that the temple reach out to the neighbors, at least they have not reached to me and other neighbors that I've talked to, but that's beside the point. The other one is, our biggest issue is the doubling the space of the building, and I looked at it at some pictures or whatever they had posted online, west side, east side, front and all that, and with all kinds of windows facing the neighborhood that they can see us, we can see them. It resembles not like a temple, but resembles like a hotel. So that is an issue for us, the size of the building for that area. The other one is the height, even though they said that the height is going to be down, not to the 14.26, but 11 or something. That is also an issue for us. Like I said, the building looks on the pictures quite big. That's the pictures. I don't know how it looks in real. And also, I just wonder what is going to be on the second floor, because the first floor is going to be the parish hall for the prayers that is also there. And the other issue that we have is the kitchen with the exhaust fan, exhausting fumes and whatnot in the neighborhood that we're going to smell around our houses. So those are the big issues for us. The parking is also an issue, and I think the parking is being tailored to 92 places or spaces based on the prayer hall and not on the total building as the bylaw says. So that needs to be also addressed. And I think the 3 and 4 are probably basically the same. The performance is just that 92 spaces is sufficient for the prayer hall, but not for the whole building. So, and I don't know why when I read in the application documents, supporting documents, it says something that the gross floor area is 2,465 meters. I don't know where that number came from, what gross area means or gross floor area means, but it is not the one that they proposed, 1333. But even 133 is more than double than what it is allowed. So those 4 standards are huge issue for us. And you know, if you look at Ingleton neighborhood is quite big, but this area mostly affects is 10 to 12 houses right in front of the temple. So we still have concerns. We'd like to connect with the owners of the building, and we can give them an input. And you know, we're not objecting to anything, but I think we can come to common understanding. But they have not reached to us to see what our concerns are. The other concern that we have is they're going to put a transformer, and I believe the transformer is going to be somewhere close to the street. I'm not sure where, but transformers are usually put away from people passing by or whatnot. Just a thought on that as well. So those are our main concerns, and you know, we'd like committee to look at it and probably put it back to the planning department, and you know, we can also work with the planning department. I know Samuel, and I also know Brian Cardona. So along with them and working with the owners of the temple, we're more than happy to come common grounds and solutions, and they be happy and the neighborhood will be happy. And that's all I have for now.
Okay, thank you so much, Jubin, for your thoughts and great comments. I think those are very valid questions and concerns. I will, once the applicant's back to respond, I will certainly make note of the things that you have requested information on. So thank you for your time. Members of the committee, any questions for Jubin at this time? I see none. All right, thank you. Jubin, stay with us, and we will get some answers to your questions later. Next one on the list is Pamela Nazareth. Pamela?
Yes, yes, it's Pamela here.
Hi.
And my husband, he's the one who wants to speak. His name is Edwidges Nazareth, and he registered too. So here he is. Please bear with him.
Thank you, Madam President. Please bear with me. I don't mean to be rude, but I'll come straight to the point.
Sir, can I have your
We
name,
moved
sir,
here
please?
30
Sorry, sir. Sorry to
Beg your
interrupt
pardon?
you. I am sorry to interrupt you, but could you please advise us of your name?
What?
Name, Edwidges.
Edwidges Nazareth, 257 Ingleton.
257 Ingleton. So Pamela's husband. We can't
Pamela
catch.
is my wife,
Yes, yes, absolutely.
and she's next to you, and she said I'll be speaking on her behalf because
No, we
she's
get
not
it.
very good at speaking. She's a bit nervous.
No problem at all. We get it. We understand your husband and wife, and you live at 257. We couldn't catch your first name. If you can just go slow.
Edwidges.
Edviges.
BIDS. Okay. All right.
E
So
for Edward, D for doctor, V for Victor, I for India, G for good, E for Edward, S for Sam.
perfect. I think we got it. Okay. So, Mr. Nazareth, please go ahead. You have
Yes.
5 minutes, and we're
Okay.
happy. Yeah.
As I said right at the beginning, I don't mean to be rude.
No.
I respect everybody's religion and religious feelings, and I expect the same to be reciprocated. Now, we moved here 30 years back. And believe me, when we moved, the attraction, we had 4 children growing up. The attraction was the park. And that is the main reason we moved here. Now, this to me, it looks a little odd. This is mainly a residential area. And in a residential area, I'm even surprised at how a permit was issued to a house of worship. Now, those houses generally are in non-residential. If you step in a middle field, you see first the Hindu temple, then you will see the Muslim Jamaat Khana, and then you will see the Catholic Church. They are peaceful, one by one. They are free to possess, and they don't come in each other's ways. But this is basically a residential area. And my suggestion is that there are 2 options. Number one is that the temple people go and look for a place elsewhere. And if not, another option would be that they buy us off at the fair market price and we move out. And that is the thing I wanted to put it across. There is nothing wrong in what I'm saying. It may look a little odd, but that is how it is. Since these frictions, and then you see it could carry on and you don't know where it will end. To avoid it, I think these 2 options should be considered. Number one, you'll look for another place, pack up, go. And then this will be a fully residential area. And the other chance is you don't want to move. You buy over these houses at fair market price, and we'll move away. That is what I wanted to convey. So I have conveyed people may not like the way I put it or something, but there are certain things that you cannot sugarcoat or put it in any other way. So thank you, Madam President, for giving me this opportunity, because I waited for 4 hours on the phone. Since 9:30, we have been sitting on the phone here. 2 people tied up. So at least I should thank you all that after the waiting for 4 hours was worth it, because I was given a chance to express my feelings. So, Madam President, thank you very much.
All
and
right.
I think I've said what I wanted to say.
Okay, no, that's great, Mr. Nazareth. I really appreciate your kind words. Sorry for the long wait that you've had. Unfortunately, this is the nature of the business. There's nothing we can do. As you can appreciate, there are applications like the one that you've signed up to speak for. So we just have to go in the order and in the queue that we are in. So I apologize for the delay, but I'm really happy that you were able to stick around and speak with us. You're certainly entitled to your opinion, and your comments are valid. Some of them may not relate to the application that is before us, such as, buying out the land or looking for other land. That's not under the purview of our committee here. We can only talk and discuss about the application that's before us. And I think you had some comments in the beginning about it. So what I'm going to suggest is, once we do go back to Michael, who is the agent on the application, I'm sure he will have some responses to your questions and comments that you've raised. And should we need to come back to you, we will let you know. So just hang in there for a few more minutes, and we really appreciate your time. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. So now we move to the next, before I do, members of the committee, any questions for Mr. Nazareth? Okay, all right, I see none. So we move to Desmond McLean. And Desmond, staff tells me you have not signed in, so we have to move forward. The next one is Derek and Lynn. Again, staff advises me that Derek and Lynn have not signed in. I will go back to my list and I will check again for Sean. All right, Sean, you are not connected. Okay. I just wanted to make sure I'm checking. I got everyone, right? Okay, perfect. All right. So now we go back to Michael. Michael? Michael, please go ahead.
Hi.
Hi,
I
Michael.
think, am I on now?
Y-
Okay, sorry.
Yes, you're on. We can hear you. So you heard the comments. There were some that were directly related to the variances. There were some that, have other matters. But I think a few that I got were sort of more clarification on what a gross floor area is, what is being proposed in terms of the GFA, and what's on the floors above. These are the few that I could capture, and I'm sure you've taken some good notes as well to be able to respond. So please go ahead.
Sure, I'll try to capture everything. So the first point was just I wanted to make a point that the members of the community did actually reach out on several occasions and try to connect with anyone who is immediately within that area, and it really is just along the south edge that people seem to be concerned, and they were just unfortunately unable to connect with them. So I can't really speak to that much more than to say that. There was a comment made about the windows, that it may be that the folks who are objecting may be looking at the elevations of the building without an understanding of how far the building actually is from the street. And it is also enclosed by a fence, and that would also mean that they won't see the transformer that's just inside the fence, which is located at the spot where the electrical engineers have negotiated carefully with Hydro to make sure that it is in the correct place, and that really is where it needs to be. We would also like to see it at the back of the site, but unfortunately that is not feasible. The issue of GFA, I think, is probably just conflating the building area versus the gross floor area. So the two numbers just refer to different measurements of the total area. The coverage is the 1333 is the number that I think was referred to by Jubin, and that is what the variance is based on. The upper floors of the building just serve the same function that the existing facility does. There's meditation rooms and other program up there, and they really will not be occupied during the peak occupancy. It really is just for the other functions of the building. And the kitchen was the other comment that was made. So the kitchen is, and there was a comment in one of the letters submitted about a commercial kitchen. The kitchen is really just what is required to service that community. And the fact of it being commercial kitchen equipment, we don't think is really relevant. And again, the building is set very far back from the street. And we don't really think it's even possible that any of that stuff will have any impact on everybody. We really do view this as a very sensitive development. It's set back far. We've made every attempt to keep it as low and quiet as it reasonably can be, and have gone through a very long and worthwhile exercise of consulting with community planning and with others. So I'm not really sure that there is anything that we can add that would be changed in response to any of the comments that were made. The second set of comments, I don't really think that there's anything again that will be productively added to that discussion. I mean, issues of buying and selling land are not really something that we're entertaining, nor will the committee. So I think maybe we'll just leave that on. And by the way, the kitchen, all the functions of the facility, the new facility, are identical to what is there now. And this really is a replacement facility, so there is no new impact being made on anybody that isn't already there, except that they will have an attractive, high quality new neighbor in terms of what the building form is. And I think I covered any of that, but if I missed anything, the members of the committee could set me straight.
Okay, thank you, Michael. I think one of the things was Mr. Nazareth was concerned with the uses, institutional uses or places of worship in residential. So I think I'm quite clear the uses are permitted. That's not
Yes.
an issue. Okay. Okay, can you just say something just so that Mr. Nazareth is clear?
Yeah, even the old exception is zoned under institutional place of worship, so there is no change, and it is a compatible use, and that's something that's spoken to in the staff report. That whatever the fact of what happened before this facility was built, which the existing facility was built, which by the way was 38 years ago, is I can't speak to that, but as it stands right now, it is something that is encouraged under the official plan and is already there.
Okay, that's what I understood as well, but I just wanted to get that clarification from Mr. Nazareth. All right, thank you very much. Members of the committee, any questions for Michael? Member Said and then Member Macaulay. Member Said, please go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Michael, that's a good details of this property development. You missed one thing. There was a question of concern, I think, from Juban about the parking spaces. So would you please elaborate on that? Is the parking spaces has been calculated based on the GFA of the prayer area, or it's the GFA of the entire building?
Of course, that's actually the crux of two of the variances, is that we've the current citywide bylaw would have an institutional place of worship calculate based on the size of the prayer area, which is how we've designed it in accordance with that guideline. But the bylaws that are in effect would pin it to the gross floor area. So we've through the design and through consultation with our traffic engineers and community planning had arrived at the latter approach being the more appropriate for the site. I think I answered that. So,
are you good?
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Yeah, of course.
Thanks, Member Said. Member Macaulay, please go ahead. Oh, did we lose Member Macaulay? Where have you back? And we lose you again. Could you please unmute yourself?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Can't hear you.
I can only go mute, and can you not hear me?
Perfect.
If you can't hear me, forget.
Go ahead.
Okay, maybe it takes a few for the buttons to activate. I'm sorry that mechanical operation of computers is causing us all some issues. Michael, I have a question, and it comes from the comment that they're concerned about the appearance of this from where they are on the south side of the road. And we have a site plan in front of us we don't have a landscape plan. So, Michael, the question to you is, have you submitted a landscape plan to the city? And can you elaborate on how that plan, if already submitted, does in fact offer the appearance of the building from the houses on the south side of the road?
Sure, I think I can. The site plan A01 that was included shows the extent of the site relative to the street. So the first thing to note is that because the road curves, it's only the site is mostly further away from the road than it might be otherwise apparent, and it curves very quickly. So that setback from the road increases at about a 30-degree angle. At the property line, thank you very much. At the property line, you can see the road curving to the south. Sorry, I'm trying to use my mouse while I can't, but to show where things are. There's a fence all along the property line that is part of the form of this particular building, and is a requirement for how it's used. But you can see that there are trees along the edge, and there's a wide boulevard at the south side of the site. And then within the site, there is a fully resolved landscape plan that has been reviewed twice by the city in terms of making sure that it meets all of the requirements. And the intent is for it to be a very high quality landscape. Obviously, there is surface parking within it. And there's some trees along the, you can see it along the right side and the top side of the right side, which is the east side and the south side. And then it does actually back onto the park, and there are a number of mature trees along the back side of it. So the overall impression of the building from the street will be that you won't really see very much of it. It's only as you get sort of far away that you might even see the top part of the building. And again, it has been designed to be as low as it can be relative to getting the program into as compact a footprint as it can be. Thank you very much. This is very useful to show the relative scale of the building. It's about to the first line of parking. You can see that the parking is not that dissimilar from what's there now. It's really just that the building form is different. It's rotated 45 degrees from the from what's from this the lot lines. But you can see generally the aspect of it is trees, greenery, and other things. So we do believe, and the form of the building, while it may not look like whatever somebody might have conceived of as a temple, it is designed to be appropriate to the community and to be as high quality a contemporary ashram as it can be.
And for further clarification, again to the residents, all that area in front of your building, I believe that is part of the city. Our building really has very little frontage on a public street. You're behind and surrounded on three sides by the old public park, correct?
It's on two. There are residences to the west, the park to the north, and a little bit of the west, and then there's an adjacent plaza site on the east side. So the exposure to the street is not very much. Sorry, the park is on the west side, and it really doesn't present much facade to the street at all.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, members of the committee, and thank you, Michael. Can I get the screen back? Could you? Thank you. Okay. All right. No further questions, I guess, at this point then? All right. Thank you, Michael, for your presentation and answers. Any closing remarks before I take the matter into committee?
No, I think we've covered everything that we need to, but thank you all very much.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much. Now I take the matter into committee. Members of the committee, are we ready with the motion now? I think we've dealt with this item in quite detail, and a lot of explanation has been provided. Can I please have a motion now? Member Macaulay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I approval of this application, subject to the community planning report requiring that the building be developed in accordance with the drawings and a site plan agreement, which includes a warning clause. I believe those are all the conditions. There probably is, I don't know if there's a forestry condition or not. I know there is conditions from community planning. So I recommend approval of this application, subject to the recommendations from the community planning regarding site plan approval, site plan agreement, and building in accordance with the drawings.
I just leave it as, if that's the intent, Member Macaulay, I just leave it as subject to the recommendations and community planning staff report, because there's more than that. Is that okay? Is that okay with you?
Satisfied, yeah.
Okay, all right. So we have a motion on the floor to approve the subject application, subject to the recommendations in the community planning staff report. May I have a seconder, please? All right, Member Taylor?
Yes, I'd be happy to second that motion, Madam Chair.
All right. All in favor of this motion? Motion is carried. The application has been approved subject to conditions. Thank you, everyone, for your time this afternoon. Which one was this? Shandon. No, this was Ingleton. Okay, sorry. So now we move to item number 13. Item number 13 is 17 Shandon Drive. And we have with us Faisal Ahmed and Tarun Preet Kaur as the agent. Faisal, are you there?
Yes, Madam Chair, I'm here. Thank you.
And Tarun Preet is also with you, and would this person be speaking as well?
Yes, mainly Tarun Preet will be speaking. I'll be listening.
Okay, all right. So Tarun Preet, are you there?
Hello.
Hi, Tarun Preet. So you're with us, okay? So just bear with us. We'll be with you in a minute.
Okay.
Thank you. And you may want to check your audio. There's a little bit of an echo I heard, so just check in.
Okay.
Thank you. So now we have Victor and Bibi Aladdin. Victor?
Yes, I'm there.
Okay.
I am Bibi.
Oh, you're Bibi. Hi, Bibi. Is Victor with you?
No, Victor, I'm actually at work. Victor's at home. He is online, but he's at home.
Okay, so you will be speaking today?
Yes, I will be.
Okay, all right. So just bear with us, and thank you for joining in. So Faisal, I turn the floor over to you. Would you like to make a presentation or dive right into the questions?
Yeah. Hello. Good afternoon, everyone.
Sorry, yes, Tarun Preet, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no problem. I would like to give a short presentation.
Okay, so you have 5 minutes, so please go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So there has been a carport, which is a proposal, which is attached to the existing house, 17 Shandon Drive, and there are only 2 minor variances that has been proposed.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all.
Oh, perfect. Okay. It's a pretty straightforward application, so I appreciate your short overview. Okay, members of the committee, any questions for Tarun Preet? I see none. All right, Tarun Preet, just stand by and we will get back to you soon. All right, so now can we have Bibi online, please? All right, Bibi, you go ahead.
I just want to say, we did send an email with a video as well. We are proposing that this carport not be enclosed. The reason being is because this homeowner, does have a welding business, and as you can see from the video, he does do welding there. I know he was given notice and he did move the attachment of the welding elsewhere, but he does have a mobile welding, which is the truck that he's driving that has the welding machine on there. Um, we are very concerned that he could, if that is enclosed, then he would use that as a workshop and he would be welding there and we would be none the wiser. We are also requesting that when he has that carport there, it not overhanging on our property or the eavesdrop not on, it should be on his property and not overhanging on ours. Our greatest fear is that this guy has a tendency of not following the rules and regulation. He does things without permission, and after the fact, he would apply for permission. So our greatest concern is that we may come home one day from work or from holidays, and
Okay.
there is a fire or something there.
Okay, no, I appreciate your comments, Bibi, and I think your written submission is exactly what you've just reiterated for us. Anything else that you would like to add in addition to what you've already said and written to us?
I just want him to follow the rules and the regulation like all of us do.
Okay, no, I
That's all I'm
totally get it. I totally get it, but I just want to make sure that what we can help you with today are the two variances that are before us. So do you have any particular concern with the variances that are before us today?
We are not architects and we're not able to read that plan. We don't know how to interpret that plan.
Okay.
So if that plan, it says that if the way it's done, if it's not overlapping our property or overhanging on the property line, we're okay with that. And we're just asking that he doesn't get an enclosed carport.
Okay, all right. No, fair enough. That's a very good comment, and I will certainly ask Tarunpreet to respond to it when the time comes. Any closing remarks?
Yeah, you know what? This thing has been causing us so much grief.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we just want to get it over with. We're just following the rules, do by what we have to do, and we're just hoping everybody else does. That's all we're asking.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Bibi, for your time. Members of the committee, any questions for Bibi? I see none. All right, thank you. Thank you, Bibi, for your time, and we will request Tarunpreet to address your questions and concerns. Thank you. So can we have Tarunpreet back, please?
Okay, yes. Hi. I do acknowledge the concerns of BB, the owner of 15 Shandon Drive, but I would like to assure her that there is no overhanging, the carport overhanging into her property on the property line. Everything is within the property of 17 Shandon Drive. So, yeah, that's it. That's all.
Okay, so
So apart from
basically,
that,
so
welding
basically,
unit.
sorry, Tarunpreet. Basically, what you're saying is that the existing carport is not encroaching.
No, this is the proposal, the proposed
Yeah.
carport.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
right.
Okay. The proposed carport will be at 0.076 meters from the south lot line. Okay. Fair enough.
Yes, yes,
So there will be no encroachment into the neighbor's property.
yes, absolutely.
How much is 0.076 meters in inches or feet? Inches?
3 inches.
3 inches? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. Members of committee, any questions for Tarunpreet? Okay, I see none. All right, thank you, Tarunpreet. I take the matter into committee now, and committee members, any questions, any comments, or are you ready with a decision on the application? Oh, sorry, ready with a motion? Okay. Member Saeed.
Madam Chair, I think we are ready for the motion if the members allow me. It's looking at the variance before the committee. These are pretty much straightforward and minor variances. So I am willing to support this application, and if allowed by the other members, I can move a motion.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor to approve the application. All in, oh, sorry, seconder, please. Member Taylor, please go ahead.
I'll second that motion, Madam Chair.
Thank you. All in favor of this motion? The motion is carried and the application has been approved for 17 Shandon Drive. That brings us to the last item that was held for the first time slot, and that is 162 Hereward Avenue. It was held because there were some speakers on the list. So now I am going to do a roll call. So this is item 15, 162 Hereward Avenue. Jeremy Smith is the owner. Jeremy, you with us?
Good afternoon, Madam Chair and board members. I am here.
Thank you, sir. Now we have Glenn Ross as the neighbor. Glenn, you with us?
Yes, I am.
Thank you, Glenn. Please stay with us for a moment. Mark McKenzie.
Shockingly, I'm still here.
Well, we're happy to see you here. All right, Janet May. Janet?
I'm here.
Okay, perfect. All right.
Yes, I'm here.
Thank you. Thank you. Just stay with us for a moment. So we'll go to Jeremy Smith. And Jeremy, could you please, would you like to have a presentation or would you like to dive right into the questions if there are any?
No, I'd like to have a presentation, please.
Sorry?
I'd like to have a presentation.
Okay, all right. So you have 5 minutes. Please go ahead.
Okay, thanks to the community. I would like to briefly introduce myself. As you know, I am an owner, builder at 162 Hereward Avenue. I'm also a fellow Crest neighbor and have been for over 30 years. I am a small-time builder now, but prior to this second career, I was a mechanic for 45 years. I am a passionate builder and believe in professional and respect. I come today to the Committee of Adjustment to seek approval for 3 variances. To amend the maximum height of the building from 9 meter to 9.6, which is approximate 6% difference. To amend the height of the exterior main wall of the building from 7 meters to 7.28, which is approximate 4% difference. To amend the maximum floor space index from 279 square meters to 350.92 square meters. With regard to the height, I think a home with a bit of a taller ceiling on the main and second floor gives a more open feeling to the home, bring in more light, and lead to, in my opinion, a more relaxing and comfortable home to live in. In support to variance 3, you will note from table 1 from my application that the Committee of Adjustment has in the past approved similar floor spaces index in the vicinity. I would like to point out a few. 36 Alistair Avenue is less than 200 meters away and is a smaller lot at 50 by 137 square feet. And the square footage of over 3,800 square feet was approved. 152 Hereward Avenue has approximate square footage of 3,500 square feet. My proposal built as a lot size of 50 by 140 square foot and requesting just under 3,800 square feet. I am not looking to build a huge home, but a home which is similar to other size new homes that have been built in the neighborhood and which people will find appealing. In closing, it is my opinion that the above-mentioned variances are minor in nature and are in line with planning. Thank you.
Is that it, or?
Yes, please.
Oh,
I
okay.
said thank you, yes.
Oh, I'm
Yes.
sorry. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Okay. No, staff was advising me of something, so I may have missed that last piece. Sorry about that. Okay. So
Okay.
members of the committee, any questions for Jeremy Smith? Member Said, please go ahead.
Thank you, Jeremy. You mentioned about the variances. I wonder, did you miss the GFA of the variance which is about the GFA?
He did.
Sorry. Could you repeat that, please?
Could you further elaborate on the variance which is about GFA? It's a variance, I think variance number 1.
So basically, variance number 1, member said he had discussed it, but we can certainly ask for more information. So, Jeremy, do you mind just explaining variance number 1?
Okay, variance number 1. The committee is from 9 meters to 9.6, which is approximate 6% difference. That's what I'm asking for.
Okay.
A 9.6 instead of 0.9.
Sorry, that doesn't seem to be the GFA.
The GFA, the gross floor area.
Okay, well, I don't have that status with me right now. My architect is in the hospital right now, and the gentleman who's supposed to represent me, Mr. Grant Morris. Are you talking about the full amount? No, this is for the floor area, right?
No, we're talking about your variance number 1, which is the floor area. So the maximum permitted floor area is 279 in your case, and you're proposing 370.92.
Okay, but if I'm correct, I think this is number 3 on my paper, but that's all right. So yeah, it is 2.279 square meters, and I'm asking for 3.592 square meters.
Okay. All right, Mohammed, does that help you?
Yeah, I think we can proceed on that because previously he mixed these variances, but it's variance number 1 on which I am seeing in front of me. But that's okay. We will get to that back once we hear the other participant too.
Okay, all right. Thank you. All right, any further questions? Okay, I see none. Let's carry on. So Jeremy, just stay with us and we'll come back to you. So Glenn Ross. Glenn, please go ahead.
Yes, I live at 221 Randall Crescent. A portion of my backyard backs on to 162 Hereward. So, really what I want to do is just reiterate what I stated in my letter. And that's my concern about the height. The height there is going to impact the privacy of my backyard. That's my concern. As well as the fact that bear with me. The floor space he's asking for, the GFI, just because something was approved previously by the committee, it shouldn't really have any bearing on this property here. That's not planning. This is you're viewing this one as an individual. So the fact that it was approved somewhere else shouldn't really have a bearing. And the other comment I have, forgive me, is there was a note or a notation stating that they were going to remove the basement apartment from the plan. Now the letter I've received in regard to this still states that this is a 2-unit detached dwelling, even though he submitted a letter saying he was removing the basement apartment. But he's not really changing the plan. So is the plan just to do the rough ends and build that apartment at a later date? That's my question to the owner. Also, with the fact that their height of their property is much higher than mine, with a change in grading, because there was a grading survey provided, I'm just concerned that if not done properly, I will have problems with drainage. That is all my comments that I have at this point. Thank you.
Thank you, Glenn. Your comments have been noted, and I'm sure Jeremy has taken notes of them as well. We will get back to your questions when Jeremy's
Thank
back
you.
on the floor. Thank you. Any questions for Glenn? I see none. Thank you. All right. Next one, Mark McKenzie.
I'm here, thank you. I'm hoping you can all hear me.
Yes, we can hear you. Please go ahead.
Fantastic. So first of all, thank you very much for hearing me and us out. I live at 223 Randall, directly behind the property in question. And I must say that I was very prepared for this meeting. I think that was originally supposed to be March 30th. I had all my facts and figures and documents in front of me. Regretfully, an emergency at work has brought me downtown today, so I'm not as prepared as I might like to have been. But I think, without repeating what Glenn said, just to get to the gist of it, the zoning and bylaws allow for builders to build bigger houses. It's frustrating that they need to build bigger houses. So it would be great if they could just say, you know what, I'm allowed to build a house that's substantially larger than anything around, and I'm happy with that. Having said that, Jeremy did write me a letter. He did take my phone call. He seems like a lovely gentleman. He's always accommodating. And I've told him that as much as I'm going to kind of fight what he wants, one of us is going to win. And my intention is to be a good neighbor at the end of it, as has Jeremy said to me. So I am frustrated with the bigger house. The start of his grade is about 4 feet higher than mine. So I'm not just going from a kind of a bungalow, I guess it's a story and a half behind me, that starts 4 feet higher than me. I'm going to a 2-story that's being asked to be bigger than the normal 2-story. So he's just going to be rather towering over my pool and backyard where I have lived for over 20 years. So it's frustrating. I understand progress. I really do. But that's my concern. I do have that dual dwelling concern, and I know we're not allowed to speak to things that aren't variances. I'm surprised that a dual dwelling isn't a variance. So that is concerning to me. But at the end of the day, a big house is going to go up there. We know that, and we can only hope for the best. So thanks for hearing me out.
Okay, thank you very much, Mark. Members of the committee, questions for Mark? Okay, it seems like Mark and Jeremy have been discussing, so I guess when we get back to Jeremy, we'll get some responses. Okay, Janet May.
Hi, thank you very much for being so patient. It's been a long day so far, and I think you've got a few more hours. I live at 147 Hereward Avenue, and I'm also speaking on behalf of the Cliffcrest Scarborough Village Southwest Residents Association, which is an incorporated nonprofit, and we are speaking in opposition to the minor variance application, because the 4 tests as set out in section 45.1 of the Planning Act are not satisfied. Are the variances minor? Ali, could you please put up attachment 1 on the screen, please? Maybe not. Okay, we have some photo overlays, but okay, I'll keep speaking. Okay, allowing the height variance will lead to a building that will, oh, here we go. Okay. Thank you, Ali. So the height variance will lead to a building that will dwarf the neighbors on both sides. So the existing house is in the top, the proposed is the second photo. It will dwarf the neighbors on both sides of Hereward and the neighbors on Randall Avenue behind Hereward. The dwelling will be materially larger than the majority of houses, not only in this block of Hereward Avenue, but also along the entirety of the street north of Kingston Road. This means the variances are not minor. Is the proposal desirable for the appropriate development of the land? Could you scroll down to the next page, please, Ali? This part of Cliffcrest, oh, that's the front elevation. And then going down, there's some photos of existing houses. The houses
on Hereward consist of modest victory homes and bungalows with generous front, side, and rear yards and mature trees. The majority of the renovations on this block, and the next page, Ali? Yeah, these ones, they have respected the character of the neighborhood. The people who live in the neighborhood do not think that this proposal is desirable, as evidenced by the signatures on the letter to the Committee of Adjustment. The opinions of the neighbors need to be valued and taken into account by the members of the committee. Do the requested variances maintain the general intent and purpose of the zoning bylaw? Could you scroll to the charts, please, Ali? Thank you. So the intent and purpose of the zoning bylaw is to ensure that the massing of a new building is appropriately scaled to other existing dwellings. The immediate context neighborhood within the 60-meter notification radius consists of 29 homes on Hereward and Randall. The gross floor area for this neighborhood ranges from 65.5 square meters to 297 square meters, with an average of 131 square meters. The 350.92 square meters proposed is too large and well out of range of these and not in keeping with the prevailing character of our neighborhood. The associated FSI ranges from 0.1 to 0.47, with an average of 0.21. The proposed FSI of 0.54 is well outside the current range, and that includes recent newly built dwellings. I'd like to talk about 127 Hereward, which the owner mentioned. It has an FSI of over 0.66 and is actually an outlier on the street. This occurred because of a consent approval, which resulted in an overbuilt dwelling on a lot that is 49 feet shorter than other lots on Hereward Avenue. This dwelling is not in keeping with the physical character of the neighborhood. The proposed massing of 162 Hereward fails to meet the intent and purpose of the official plan. Do the requested variances maintain the general intent and purpose of the official plan? The intent and purpose of the official plan are to ensure that new development respects the existing physical character of that neighborhood, including, in particular, prevailing density. Prevailing density is determined as the most frequently occurring, and this includes older properties, not just new overbuilt houses. The official plan 4.4 states, no changes shall be made through rezoning, minor variance, consent, or other public action that are out of keeping with the physical character of the neighborhood. Hereward Avenue, north of Kingston Road to Horfield, consists of 62 houses.
May, sorry to interrupt you. Sorry to interrupt you, May, but your time's up, so you may want to do some closing remarks and so that we can move forward.
I'm done. I have one more sentence.
Okay.
Of these, 47 or 76% are bungalows. Bungalows are the existing physical character of the neighborhood. Because these variances do not satisfy any of the four tests, we urge you to deny the application. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, and May. If I can request
Janet.
the committee members, Janet, sorry.
Okay.
Janet. Committee members, any questions for Janet? Okay, I see none. All right, thank you, Janet. Please stay with us, and we will now go back to Jeremy Smith. Jeremy.
Yes, Madam Chair.
Please go ahead. You heard the comments from the speakers. Would you be able to respond and address the concerns that have been raised?
Well, yes. Again, I'm concerned over the privacy of Mark and Carrie Mackenzie. I spoke to her, and I assure her that her privacy will not be in any way, form, or fashion be interrupted in. The fence is not going to be touched. The trees are not going to be touched. Regarding the drainage, I will have proper. I have a proper survey, and I'll be doing the proper landscaping in the premises so that no water or no construction debris or nothing will be going into the neighbor's premises. It's all going to be into my own property, and I can assure the neighbors, which I have wrote many letters to a few neighbors around there, showing them that my intention is honest and straightforward, and that's what my plans are, and that's what I intend to keep, and to make sure that everybody is happy with what my intentions are. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Members of the committee, any questions for Jeremy? Member Macaulay, please go ahead.
Quick question for Jeremy. One of the people spoke about the difference in height of their backyard versus the backyard that we're looking at. I noticed on the survey that you have a retaining wall on the back lot line. Are you planning on making any changes to that retaining wall?
Sorry, could you repeat that, please? Sorry.
The issue is the height of your backyard versus the backyard behind you. And
Yes.
his concern was that difference. Now, everything that you do has to be kept within your property. But I noticed that you have a retaining wall, and I'm wondering whether you are continuing to change that retaining wall or making any changes to it. It really speaks to the appearance of height of your building from the lots behind you.
Absolutely not, because my house would not be going as far back there. It's going to be away from the fence. There's nothing going to be changed in the back.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, anything else? Any other question? Okay, all right. Member McKay, please.
Yes, I just wasn't sure about variance number 2 and variance number 3. They look the same. Am I missing something there? This relates to permitted height, as does. Oh, I see. Yeah, I see. It's a variance. I see under the new citywide bylaw, and under the old Scarborough bylaw. I take it. So sorry, I understand that now.
Yes? Okay. Member Saeed?
Thank you, Madam Chair. A question to Jeremy. Mr. Jeremy, when I look at the letters, oppositions and petitions here, across the board, there is one thing very common, and there is a greater voice for the GFI of this variance number 1, which is a bigger concern because majority of the neighbors around, they are saying it's going to be a bigger dwelling in this area, which is not fitting into the character of the street. And the second major concern is the height of the building, which is affecting the privacy of the adjacent neighbor. Like the neighbor behind you has a swimming pool also. So there are questions. So I wonder, in your response, you haven't discussed both of these points. So could you please elaborate on both these issues?
Well, I think the neighbors are concerned because of the height of the house, that their privacy will be invaded. But there's a lot of trees in there. As I explained to you, I met with the owners directly behind me, and she said that she doesn't have a problem as long as I do not touch the fence or the hedges. Their privacy will not be invaded, and I don't have a deck in my second floor, any such thing. Yes, there'll be a few windows in the back, but there's no deck, and I don't think anybody will be able to look through. When the summer is there, the trees will be full of leaves, the branches will be there. The place is completely isolated in the back, directly behind my house. So the privacy will be still as it was for the last 25 years or however, because I have no intention of doing anything to the back of the premises.
Okay, all right, I think that was a good response.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I guess if there are no other comments, and I would like to take the matter into committee now. I think we've spent some good time on this, unless someone has a burning question. I see none. All right, that's great. Okay, thank you, Jeremy, for your time, and we're going to now take the matter into committee. Committee members, may I please have a motion? All right, Member Taylor, please go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. In listening to the neighbors once again, we're dealing with a conundrum between a proposal and the existing character of a street or neighborhood. When I look at this application, I note that the proposed building doesn't require any yard adjustments. In other words, it's built entirely within the building envelope. I'm sensitive to the height issue as it relates to the properties behind, given the fact that they're lower, but I don't think that's a significant impact item. So at the end of the day, I'm prepared to move approval subject to urban forestry condition 2.
Okay. All right, so we have a motion on the floor to approve the application subject to urban forestry conditions. May I have a seconder, please? May I have a seconder? Okay. There is no seconder. I can second. There's no point. Okay. No, there's no seconder. Okay, so the motion fails. May I have a motion again? Member Said.
Thank you, Madam Chair. In view of the size of the dwelling and also looking at the fitness of this development into the character of the street, I could not support this. So I will remove the motion for refusal of this application.
All right, seconder, Member Macaulay, please go ahead.
Madam Chair, I will agree with that refusal or refusal of this application.
So basically you're seconding the motion then, right?
I'm seconding the motion.
Okay, thank you. All in favor of this motion? All opposed? Okay, the motion carries. The application has been refused. Thank you. All right, let's move on to this was the last item on the first set of items on the agenda. Committee members, we have to be cognizant of the time here. We're 2 and a half hours behind our schedule. So we may want to consider our approach in dealing with the applications on the agenda. The break?
Through the chair. So just for the members awaiting, members on people on YouTube, as well as members of the public, for the first afternoon session starting at 1. We are running late, so the 1 p.m. session has now been moved to 4:30. So because it's 3:30 right now, so we're going to take our break right now. In terms of so that's we will put something on the screen to that effect, so all the viewers will I guess know that we are in recess, and the first afternoon session will be starting at 4:30.
Okay, thank you, members. Thank you, Colin, for that comment. So on that note, we are now going to adjourn the first session of the hearing today. The meeting is now concluding for the first session. We will resume at 4:30, and we will go to a new hearing to deal with items from item 18 to item 36.
This is the on the agenda. This is the 1 p.m. session. we will deal with that at 3:30, at 4:30. My apologies.
And I'm sure staff will put some notice on the web to make sure that we're capturing the right items. Okay, thank you, everyone. Stay tuned. We'll see you in a bit. Thank you.
So we're over till 4:30, okay.
That's correct, 4:30, because that's the break, right? And then lunch, 1 hour lunch break. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Scarborough District Committee of Adjustment hearing. Um, Today is May 12th. Some housekeeping matters before we begin our hearing today. During the declared emergency in the City of Toronto, Committee of Adjustment virtual public hearings are being conducted by electronic means through WebEx, an online digital platform, and streamed onto the Toronto City Planning YouTube channel. These measures are necessary to comply with physical distancing requirements and a provincial order that limits attendance at public gatherings. This will be a virtual public hearing, and participants who have registered in advance will be able to make their presentations to the committee using WebEx, an online event that is being moderated by city staff. Anyone wishing to view the hearing may do so by watching on the YouTube. Participants who have registered in advance will be connecting either by their computer or telephone or tablet app. All participants will automatically be muted on entry. When your item is called, each participant will be unmuted by the moderator, one person at a time. Only the committee members will be participating by video. All registered participants will be participating by audio only. We ask that you mute all of your personal devices, including the YouTube stream, when you're not speaking, to prevent transmission of any background noise and minimize disruption to the meeting. Please unmute your computer microphones before speaking. Please ensure to mute the YouTube streaming while you are speaking. The hearing will take place at a slower pace. Each item will be stated, and then a moment will be given to allow everyone time to find their place. Please write down the WebEx meeting access code and attendee ID from your WebEx meeting invitation and keep it nearby for quick reference. If you experience lag or audio issues, disconnect and call into the hearing and enter the information again. Please call into the hearing with the phone number that you have registered with so that staff can recognize your number and unmute you when your item comes up. Before we begin our hearing, we acknowledge the land we are meeting on is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit and the Williams Treaty signed with multiple Mississaugas and Chippewa bands. In accordance with Section 45 and 53 of the Planning Act 1990 as amended, this meeting of the Committee of Adjustment for City of Toronto is now called to order. The Committee of Adjustment considers applications for minor variances from the provisions of the zoning bylaw, permissions to extend or alter lawful non-conforming uses, and consents to create new lots. To ensure a fair and timely hearing, I will vet the agenda to determine which applications can be dealt with immediately and which applications require a more in-depth review. When an item is called on the agenda, I will confirm if the applicant and all registered speakers are present. When an application is uncontested, the agent or applicant, if they wish to proceed with their presentation, if desired. When the committee does not require a presentation, the applicants are to advise the chair should they wish to speak to the committee. The committee may ask questions or take the matter into committee for decision. Each speaker, including the applicant or the agent, will be giving a maximum of 5 minutes to address the committee. I will comment when you are reaching the 5 minutes. When addressing the committee, please clearly state your name and address. Please remember to confine your remarks to the matters outlined in the application. The applicant or the agent will proceed first and will make a presentation to the committee. Please note that the committee may decide to not entertain any revisions to the proposals at the hearing today. The committee may decide to defer the application if it's substantially revised to ensure that the revised application is accurate and that all those entitled to the notice of the application are informed of the changes. The committee may entertain revisions if, in the opinion of the committee, the requested revisions are straightforward and minor in nature and may not affect other variances or the overall proposal and the intent of the application. Then speakers, either in support or in opposition to the application, will be invited to speak. Please ensure to include all your remarks or concerns that you may have. Committee members may ask questions of each speaker after they've finished their presentation. If there are several speakers sharing the same view, please select a spokesperson to present the group's opinion. We certainly want to hear your views. However, Covering the same points will not advance your cause. I would also like to remind all the speakers that if you have submitted written submissions, please do not read from your written submissions. The committee members have already received copies of those written submissions, but are certainly happy to hear if you wish to add anything in addition to what you've already submitted to us in writing. Please be advised that all registered speakers at the hearing today will be given a chance to speak before the committee moves on to the applicant for a rebuttal or a response to the concerns raised by the speakers. The chair will advise if there are any questions for the speakers. When all speakers are finished, the applicant or the agent has an opportunity to rebut only those issues that were raised by the speakers. Please note that unless committee members have any questions, the speakers will not get a chance to rebut the response from the applicant. This will mark the end of the discussion, and the application will then be taken into committee for a decision. For items number 18 to 36, are there any declarations of interest of panel or staff? I see none. Thank you. Mr. Deputy Secretary Treasurer, have you received any requests for deferral?
Through the chair, we've received two deferral requests. The first one is item 18 at 18 McCowan Road. A deferral is required to the June 23rd hearing because the two of the requested variances were incorrectly identified in the public hearing notice. The second deferral request in this session is for item 2233 Orlando Boulevard. It's a deferral request from the applicant Sine Die to allow additional time to address concerns from their neighbors.
That was the second one, right?
Through the chair, that's correct.
Okay, all right. So let's deal with the first item, item 18 McCowan Road. We have the applicant or the agent here with us, Faisal or Tarun Preet. Who would like to speak? Faisal, are you there with us? Faisal, are you with us? Staff tells me that you're connected. Could you say something, please, Faisal? Okay, it appears there's some audio issues. Let's check with Tarun Preet. Tarun Preet, are you there? Oh, you're not there. She is? Okay.
Hello.
Hi, Tarun Preet.
Hi. I think they just announced that this application has been deferred.
No, this was not an announcement. Staff advised the committee that there's a request for deferral. So we have not made a decision on the deferral request yet. We have invited you to advise us if you have any concerns or the purpose of the deferral.
No, we would like to go with the deferral, and we are okay with the June 23 hearing.
Okay, all right. I do see we had two neighbors who had registered to speak, but I will go to the committee. Committee members, there's a request for deferral on this application. Do you have any concerns with the request for deferral for reasons as explained by the Deputy Secretary Treasurer? I see none. All right. So there are no concerns or questions regarding the deferral request. Can I please have a motion? Member McKay.
Thanks, Madam Chair. Yes, I'd like to move that we defer this particular item, item 18, to the Committee of Adjustment meeting on June 23rd.
Okay, thank you. May I have a seconder, please? Seconder, please. Member Taylor.
I'll second that motion, Madam Chair.
Thank you. We have a seconder. Mr. Taylor seconded the motion. All in favor of this motion? The motion's carried, and item number 18 for 18 McCowan Road has been deferred to the June 23rd meeting. Thank you. The other request for deferral is 33 Orlando Boulevard. 33 Orlando Boulevard. Let me see. We have the agent, Kaushik Suthar. Kaushik, are you with us?
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. Yeah, I'm with you.
Okay. Sir, there's a request for deferral. Do you have any comments or do you have any questions?
I would like to defer the applications and revise the plan to reflect the neighbor concerns.
Okay.
and again applying for the building departments, and we comes with the new plans and the new requirements. Most probably we reduce the lot coverage, so automatically the front yard and setback are also the waive. So only the maybe in the future only the height variance is there. So I would to like to defer the applications.
Okay, thank you very much. I just want to put on record that there were few members in opposition who had registered to speak with us. I will now go to, excuse me, go to the committee. Committee members, any questions regarding the deferral or any comments? I see none. Please, can I have a motion on this request for deferral for reasons as stated? Member McKay.
Yes, to allow more time for discussion and revisions, I would defer this matter sine die. That's my motion.
Okay, so the matter, we have a motion on the floor to defer the matter sine die. I have a seconder, please. Member Saeed.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I second the motion for deferral of item number 22.
Thank you. All in favor of this motion? The motion is carried. The application has been deferred sine die. I believe those were the only two requests for deferral that we have dealt with. I will now vet the, so we will now begin our hearing and hear the items from 18, which is deferred to 36, that are included on the agenda under the, which was initially the 1 p.m. time slot. So basically our second time slot. So if there are people in interest, the matter will be held until all non-contested applications have been cleared. If there's no person in interest, the agent or the applicant will proceed. If they wish to present, the committee may ask questions or take the matter into committee for a decision. So moving to the first item on the agenda for this session is item 19, and item 19 is 9 Chatterton Blvd. And so there are no members or speakers registered in opposition. We have the agent and the owner and the builder in support. Mr. Kosik Suthar, are you with us?
Yeah, I am with you.
Okay, thank you, sir. We also have Sachitanatham, Sukumar, the owner.
Yes, I am here.
All right, thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Just stay with us. And we also have Sasilan Thambiraja, the builder in support. Sasilan, are you there? Okay, all right, thank you. So we just want to make sure before we do you have a presentation to make, or is there anything you would like to say at this time, or do you want to dive right into the question?
Yeah, I am willing to give the answer to every questions. I want, if you have any questions, let me discuss and I can give the answers.
Okay, all right, that's a good idea. So I will move to the committee members. Committee members, any questions for this application? I see none. All right. So Kosik, you heard there are no questions on this application. Do you have any comments at this time, or before I take the matter into consider committee?
No, I have not questions, or nothing is concerned.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. I just want to check with Sukumar, Ms. Sukumar, and the owner. Any comment?
I have family with 6 people, and my mother-in-law with me, and 6 of us. And my elder one is going to be married, and he's going to be moving too. So we need more space. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Sukumar. I appreciate your comments. So committee members, if there are no questions, may I have a motion? Member Saeed.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The variants before the committee, they are minor. They meet the 4 test criteria. There are conditions, urban forestry condition number 2 and 3. With that conditions of urban forestry, I put forward the motion for approval of item number 19.
Thank you. May I have a seconder to this motion? Member McKay, please go ahead.
Yes, Madam Chair, I'm pleased to second that approval.
All in favor of this motion?
We-
The motion's carried. The application number 19 for 9 Chatterton Boulevard has been approved, subject to conditions of urban forestry. Thank you. The next item is item 20, which is 78 Laurel Avenue. Item 20, 78 Laurel Avenue, and I have one registered speaker who's the agent, Patrick McAuliffe.
Speaking here. Yep, I'm here.
Okay, thank you, Patrick. Do you want to make a presentation, or do you have any comments, or would you want to dive into the questions if there are any?
I'll just go over the issues very quickly and then answer any questions.
Sure, okay.
Number one, which is regarding the coverage, that is what it is. There's no hiding that. Number two, the 9.33 meter front yard setback. If we place the house at the proper setback, we'll have virtually no backyard. The minimum required rear yard setback is 7.92. We've just made it what most residential detached houses are, which is 7.5. And again, if we move it to 7.92, that means we're going to be moving the house even further forward. The maximum permitted building length is 17 meters. We are 17.63. The actual two-story section of the house is only 6.6 meters. So it's just the one-story section at the back that sends it over the 17 meters. The maximum permitted height of the dwelling, we can delete that item completely. Okay, and number 6, which is the front porch, extending way too far in the front, and that is because we've trying to keep at least a minimum of backyards, and that's why that goes so far forward. That's it. Can I answer any questions?
Sure, okay, all right. So you can confirm with me you are withdrawing the variance number 5 for the proposed dwelling height. Okay, so members of the committee, please make a note of that. Variance number 5 has been removed. And Patrick, are you aware of the urban forestry comments?
Yes, I am.
And you don't have any questions?
No problem.
Okay, thank you. Members of the committee, any questions for Patrick? The application has been amended to remove variance number 5. I see none, so if there are no questions or comments, may I please have a motion? Member Macaulay, please go ahead.
Madam Chair, I recommend approval of the variances for 78 Laurel Avenue. I recognize the deletion of item number 5, which is the maximum permitted height, is no longer requested. And I believe the other variances are minor and appropriate for the site.
Okay.
Urban forestry conditions.
Sorry, there is, taking a look at conditions. Yes, conditions of urban forestry.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor to approve the application as amended on the floor today and subject to conditions of urban forestry. May I have a seconder, please? Member Saeed.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move the motion. I second the motion for approval of item number 20 as amended, subject to the urban forestry conditions.
Thank you. All in favor of this motion? The motion is carried and the application has been approved subject to conditions of urban forestry and application as amended. Thank you. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 21, we will hold it down because there are several speakers. So confirming item 21 is on hold. Item 22, or that's deferred, okay, that has been deferred. Item 23, 96 Huntington Avenue. We have one neighbor who is in opposition, so we will hold it down. So item 23 is being held because there's a neighbor who has registered to speak. Item number 24, 43 Briardale Boulevard, and we have the agent Mikio Nakashima with us.
Good afternoon, Chair.
Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. Members of the committee, any questions for Mikio on this application? Member Said?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mikhail, is this a two-story or three-story building?
As by the technical definition of the bylaw, it will be at 3 stories, but as it is presented to the street, it'll present similarly to all the other 2-story houses that have been added on in the neighborhood. The technical variance could be removed if we lowered the basement about 1.5 feet, but at this time, the owners would like to put their resources in the upper floors as they've recently finished the basement.
Okay, that was a clarification question, right, Member Said?
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you. All right, no other questions, I believe? I see no hands raised. So, Mikio, do you want to make a presentation or any comments at this time before we take the matter into committee?
No, I believe that's the only item that really jumps out is the 3-story condition, and like I said, that is merely a matter of a technical variance because of our proximity of our proposed basement to established grade. If we lowered the basement, both the 3rd story as well as the GFA conditions would be removed.
Okay, that is great, and there are no conditions of urban forestry. All right, thank you very much, Mikio. Take the matter into committee. Committee members, if there are no further comments or questions, can I please have a motion? Member Macaulay, please go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I recommend approval of variance for 43 Dale Boulevard. I do acknowledge, as the applicant has said, that if he moves the basement lower, it's no longer part of the gross floor area. It really has to go over the gross floor area simply because it includes the basement floor area. Therefore, I recommend approval. It's a minor variance. It's appropriate for the area, and it's minor. It's appropriate. Going through my items of that we need to look at. I'm going to stop there. Recommend approval.
Okay, all right. So we have a motion on the floor recommending approval. May I have a seconder, please? Member McKay.
Yes, Madam Chair, I'll move approval of this item. I see no urban forestry condition, so I second the motion to approve the variance.
All right, so the motion has been seconded by Member McKay. All in favor of this motion? The motion's carried. An application for 43 Dale Boulevard has been approved. Thank you.
Thank you, committee. Have a wonderful afternoon.
Thank you. We now move to item 25. Item 25 is for 7 Pollard Drive, and it's a minor variance application. We have with us the agent, Leo Mastandia. Leo, are you with us?
Yes, I am.
Thank you very much. Members of the committee, we have the agent with us. Any questions for the agent? I see none. Leo, do you have any comments at this time or would like to make a presentation?
I'd just like to say that my client has paralysis, and the reason why they want this covered terrace is that so she can enjoy the weather without getting any direct sunlight. And because it's on a corner, it doesn't really impact anyone. And it's only 1 story, and it's open on 3 sides. So I believe for those reasons, it is appropriate and does meet the 4 tests.
Okay. So you talked about the... Okay, that's fine. Thank you very much. I take the matter into committee now. Members of the committee, and any comment? I see none. All right. Can I have a motion, please? And I just want to check if there are any conditions of urban forestry. There are no conditions. Okay. Thank you. Please go ahead, Member Taylor.
Yes, Madam Chair, I think this is a very real accommodation for the applicant, given their situation. I find the variances meet the four tests under the Planning Act, and I move approval without conditions.
Thank you. Seconder, please. Member Said?
Madam Chair, I second the motion. There is no condition attached to that.
Okay, all in favor of this motion? All opposed? Oh. Anne is frozen and Anne is gone.
And should not be frozen, nor should she be gone.
No, and now Anne is back
Very
and
cold here.
Anne is back and
Which
then
way is
she's,
voting?
yeah.
Thank you very
Voting
much.
in support.
Okay, the application's approved. Thank you, Anne. Bye-bye. Okay. All right, let's go to the next item. Item 26, this is 35 Cotton Avenue. 35 Cotton Avenue, there is a list, a few speakers on the list, so we will hold down item 26 and come back to it. Item 27, 25 Van Allen Road. We have with us the agent and the owner, Imran Intwala. Imran, are you with us? Oh, Imran's not with us? Okay. We can still proceed with the application. So members of the committee, any questions on this application? There's one requested variances for the uncovered, new uncovered porch at the front of the existing dwelling. I see no questions. Okay, can I have a motion, please? Member Said, please go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The variance before the committee is minor. I move the motion for approval of item number 27. There are no conditions attached to that.
Okay, may I have a seconder, please? Member Macaulay.
I'll second that motion.
Oh, Member Taylor?
Oh, sorry.
No, that's okay. Go ahead. Member Taylor?
I'll second the motion, Madam Chair.
Okay. Member Taylor seconds the motion. All in favor of this motion? The motion's carried. The application for 25 Van Allen Road has been approved. Moving to item 28, 362A Aylesworth Avenue. And we have with us Solomon Woltselasi, the owner. Solomon, you're with us?
Yes, Madam. Yes, Madam Chair and board members, I'm here.
Okay, thank you. Members of the committee, we have the agent, we have the owner with us, Solomon. Any questions for Solomon? There are 3 variances on this application. I see none, so there are no questions. Okay. All right, Solomon, before I take the matter into committee, any comments that you have or any presentation that you wish to make?
No, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you. Members of the committee, matter into committee. If there are no comments, can I please have a motion? Member Said.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move the motion for approval of item number 28. There are no conditions to that.
Thank you. All in, oh, seconder, please.
I will second that motion.
Thank you. Member Macaulay seconds the motion. All in favor of this motion? The motion's carried. Application 362A Aylesworth Avenue has been approved and there are no conditions. Item number 29. This is 25 Dewey Drive and we have with us Elena Lacheva. Elena, are you with us?
Hi, everybody.
Hi. All right. Members of the committee, any questions for Elena? Member Said?
Elena, do you know the urban forestry conditions number 2 and 3?
Yes, I'm aware. Yeah,
Okay, if you agree to that, I am willing to support your application.
Okay, so Elena.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, all right. So Elena is aware of the conditions and I guess no other question or comment. So can I have a motion? Member Said, please.
you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Elena, for understanding of urban forestry conditions number 2 and 3. I move the motion for approval of item number 29, subject to the urban forestry conditions.
May I have a seconder, please? Member McKay.
Yes, Madam Chair, I second that motion to approve, subject to the urban forestry conditions.
All in favor of this motion? Motion's carried. Application for 25 Dewey Drive has been approved. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, item 30. Item 30 is for 54 Ton Meat Square. And we have with us the agent, Colin Lightbourne. Colin.
Yes.
Hi, Colin.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair.
Good afternoon. Members of the
I'm
committee.
agent for the-
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yes, I'm the agent for the owner. I'd just like to point out that it has come to my attention that the zoning examiner made an error in properly identifying the side yard setback. She has placed the side yard setback from the outside face of the post supporting the roof over this carport to the fence line, inside face of the fence line, which is 6 3/4 inches west of the property line. She's indicated it as 0.46 meters. In fact, it should have been 0.292.9 meters. So with that, items 1, 2, and 3 change. Now, it is a small error, and it's a mistake. Yes, anybody can make that mistake. We have two choices here, I feel. We deal with the variances as they are, or the dimensions as are indicated on my drawings, sheet A3, and my site plan, which is A1. Or I can ask for an adjournment and have the application rescheduled. In my opinion, I feel that it's an honest mistake. The variance is minor, and we're only dealing with a carport. We're not dealing with a multi-story building. So it's not going to affect the neighborhood. I didn't have a chance to check whether there are any objections to this application. But since it's a small application, I don't think there were. However, if I can proceed, we can go down to item number 4, where she says that the eaves encroach onto the neighboring property. That is not the case. My setback at this point in time to the eaves are 0.762 meters, which is about 3 inches to the east of the property line. So there's no encroachment involved. And item 2, where she says the proposed carport is 0.46 meters. In fact, as I stated earlier, it is 0.292 meters. There's no encroachment. She erred. My figures are correct. And as I said, the committee has a choice of either accepting my dimensions or grant me a new hearing date, an adjournment for a new hearing date. To me, it's very small. It's not affecting the neighborhood in any way, shape, or form.
So if I can just keep it simple, Solomon, are these revisions or your numbers, are they improving the situation?
They are, yes, indeed.
Okay, so if we, should you give us numbers today, revised numbers, and should the committee approve them, you're going to take responsibility of that and there would be no concerns? Because what I see here is that there was a zoning review done, and I haven't received anything from the zoning department suggesting that there was an error. So I'm in your hands. If you want to proceed with, you have two options, three options actually. You can proceed with what's before the committee today. You can proceed with your revisions, or you can defer, you can request for deferral and then come back with the revised application.
Well, in light of the matter that my measurements are an improvement, it's just that the setback of 0.46 meters, she had taken it to the fence line.
Okay, fair enough.
As
I understand
opposed-
that. I
Yeah,
understand that.
So I would prefer that the committee go ahead with this application. The request is minor in nature. The
As
fact that-
presented?
As presented.
Okay.
No, with my changes.
Okay.
Because clearly, if we go with what's before the committee now, then we're still dealing with an encroachment issue which doesn't exist.
He said he's
And
improving it.
my drawing- Yeah.
Yeah, so he's
my
going to give the
drawing-
numbers. I'm going to ask for it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. So my drawings clearly show that there's no encroachment issues, and the difference from the setback to the fence line is incorrect. It should have been from the
Okay.
inside post to the property line.
Okay, we
Clearly
understand that.
stated on my drawing.
No. Sorry, Solomon, to interrupt, but I totally understand that there was an error, and we get it. Now, are you prepared right now to give us a revised number for each of these variances?
Sure can.
Sure, okay. You can start with the first variance.
Okay,
So
the
can you
first
see the
variance-
screen? Can you see the screen before you?
No, I'm calling via my phone.
Oh, I see, okay. So the first variant that we have is the required side yard setback. Required is 1.2, and the proposed carport is 0.46 meters from the west side yard setback. So what is the revised number here?
So that 1.2 meters is the minimum side yard to the house.
No,
not
that's
to
the, I
not-
know, I understand that. That's the required.
Okay.
What is your proposed
Yeah,
number?
Okay, my proposed number is 0.292 meters.
Ze-
0.292 meters.
Oh, this is worse. Oh, this is worsening the situation. So Solomon,
That is from the post to the property line.
no, so here's the thing, Solomon. I understand that.
Okay. The required setback for a garage in Scarborough and throughout the city of Toronto is 0.3 meters. That's the required setback.
No. Okay.
Okay.
Can we focus on this application right now? The required side yard here is 1.2. The variance that is before us is 0.46. You're saying the revised number should be 0.29, which means it's coming closer. So it is actually worsening the situation, not improving the situation.
No, I have to disagree with you.
Madam Chair, I think you're confusing item 1 and item 2. He's giving us the numbers for item 2.
This is why I said, this is why I read the variance. I was reading the variance number 1. Variance number 1 is the minimum required side yard building setback is 1.2 meters. The proposed carport is 0.46 meters from the west side yard setback. I need a revision for that variance.
The the 1.2 meters is for the setback of a house, the minimum side yard to the main wall. I have a distance from my property line or the owner's property line to the main side wall of 3.48 meters. That is not in question, okay? This 1.2 meters is generic. So let's forget about the setback. My setback from the property line to the house is 3.48 meters, the required minimum side yard.
Okay,
Setback
let's do this, Solomon. I think we're
1.2 meters.
sorry to interrupt you, Solomon. Do you have a copy of the notice with you?
It's Collins, Colin.
Oh, sorry. Colin, I'm sorry. Sorry about that.
That's okay. I've been called worse.
No. We're dealing with Tunmead. Sorry, Colin. My apologies. I had the wrong name. Sorry, Colin. So, Colin, do you have a copy, a hard copy of that decision? I know you cannot see the screen, but you have a copy of the notice.
I'm looking at it now. The variance number 1, it says the minimum required side yard, side building setback is 1.2 meters. That's the building. It has nothing to do with the carport.
But there's a variance there. But this is a variance because the required. I agree with you. This is a listed variance on the notice.
Yeah, I think if we can't come to some sort of consensus here, because my side yard setback exceeds the 1.2 meters, as I stated. It's clearly indicated on my drawings.
So do you want to delete it? Do you want to delete it? Then it's inaccurate.
Delete it, yeah, because it's misleading.
Okay, let me talk to staff first, Colin. I think you may be right, but let me talk to staff first. Can you give me a moment? So staff, this first variance, I think it's inaccurate then. Because it says the required building setback is 1.2 and the proposed carport is 0.46. So should it not be, why are we bringing in carport there? Not sure, eh? Okay. Yeah. Because the first and the second variants are identical.
Through the chair, we received a zoning review notice, a zoning notice. If there are incorrect or inconsistencies with the submitted site plan, we do not have any kind of record of that, and it's up to the committee to decide whether or not to move forward with the requested changes or amendments to the dimensions stated. If it is less than 0.46 meters from the west side yard setback, anything less than that would not be meeting public notice requirements.
Thank you very much for that clarification. So Colin, I think what we have before us is a zoning review. We don't have the ability to confirm if it's accurate or not accurate. I think there's a bit of a confusion. May I suggest that you may want to go back and check the zoning and check this matter and then come back to the committee? Or we can deal with this as is today without any revisions?
Okay. Looking at this, my feeling is that the committee may not grant this. I've been in the business long enough to know that perhaps it might be to my advantage to ask for a deferment because the planner, she did make that mistake. It's an honest mistake, but my dimensions are clearly indicated on my site plan and on my elevation drawings. And the property line is clearly delineated. So why don't we do this? I don't want to take the chances because this application, because of polling, the city made mistakes, so we're going through this motion again. I rather do this properly, get a proper zoning notice, so there is no misunderstanding. All right? If the committee is going to deny the application, I rather provide a proper zoning notice and get it all cleared up. If I can be guaranteed to get on the next available hearing date, and that's in June, because this has been prolonging too long, and I like to get it off my hands.
Okay, so Colin, I cannot make a decision on the timing of your application. What staff tells me is that they cannot guarantee it for the next hearing.
Is the committee willing to approve this application based on the facts that you have?
The committee will, if you, what the committee has before them is what the committee is going to make a decision on. If you ask for a deferral, then committee will consider a deferral request. But if you want to have a decision on this application, then the committee will have to make a decision on what is before the committee today.
My question, what is before the committee today? Will they approve it?
We don't know that yet.
I don't want to waste the committee's time, and certainly I don't want to waste my time. I would rather than have this deferred, and because zoning made the mistake, I feel that they should get me on the next hearing date.
Okay, you can talk to staff and then staff can advise you, sir.
Talk to staff. I will certainly talk to staff.
Okay.
It's unfortunate, but mistakes happen.
Understood.
Right?
Understood.
I rather have you approve something that is correct and get it done.
Okay.
So grant me a deferral, and I will speak to the city tomorrow.
Okay, so you're requesting the committee to grant you deferral so that you can go in and correct the zoning information?
That's correct, based on my plans.
Okay, thank you very much. I think now that... Yeah.
And also, I'm requesting that my client does not have to pay a deferral fee.
I can't commit to it right now. You have to talk to staff about it. If you want to request the committee for waiving, then you could do that too, but not right now. First, you go and talk to the city staff and find out what the real issue is here. Okay.
Okay. So, who should I be speaking with? The manager? Yeah.
I don't know. Whoever you've been talking to, I would say start from there.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Thank you very much.
No, so before you go, we have to make a decision on your deferral request. So stand by. So members of the committee, you heard the whole thing. There are some concerns, there's some inconsistencies and issues. The applicant's requesting for a deferral. Can I have the screen back, please, Katrine? Thank you. Nope, no problem. Oh, sorry, Colin. All right, members of the committee. Request for deferral. May I have a motion, please? And that would have to be sine die because staff cannot commit to putting it back next hearing. Member Taylor.
Yes, Madam Chair, I don't think we have any alternative but to defer. We can't grant what's before us because it's not going to accommodate his carport the way he wants it. We can't approve the adjustments he'd like to make because they actually worsen the situation based on the information that the public has. So I move deferral sine die.
All right, may I have a seconder, please? Member McKay.
Yes, Madam Chair. I second that motion to defer this item sine die.
Okay, thank you. All in favor of this motion? The motion's carried. Colin, your application has been deferred sine die, and hope to see you soon. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a good
Have a good day. Item 31, we will have to hold it down because there is a speaker. Hold. This is item 31. Okay, item 32. We have the agent, project architect, Toronto Housing Committee. Okay, there are no speakers in opposition listed here, so let me try. So this is item 32. Item 32 is for 4205 Lawrence Avenue East. We have Pavlo Turco, the architect.
Present.
Thank you. David Eckler, the project
Can you hear?
architect. All right, you there? Okay, perfect.
Yeah, yes, and Pablo will do most of the speaking on this matter.
I see. Thank you very much for that. And Adam Palacero.
Present.
Okay, and Adam
I'm there.
Palacero is from Toronto Housing. Thank you, sir. Thank you. I don't see any other residents or members of public register to speak in opposition or in support. So members of the committee, the application for 4205 Lawrence Avenue East is before you. It has two requested variances. Any questions for the agent? Member Macaulay?
Quick question to the agent. Does this have to go through a site plan approval, or are these minor enough that they can just be done through the building permit?
No site plan approval for this project.
Okay,
Okay,
so,
thank you.
all right, thank you. If there are no further questions, oh, Member Said, remember we're vetting the agenda. Go ahead, Mohammed.
It's a quick question. If we can
Sure.
The relocation of garbage bins has been proposed there. So how it is going to affect the parking? Is there is effect on the parking numbers?
There's no request for,
If I may,
please. Please go ahead.
if I may respond to it.
Please go ahead.
The relocation of the waste bin was caused by an order from a Toronto Fire Services to relocate it a distance from the building, because right now, as existing condition is that the garbage enclosure is adjacent to the ground floor of the building. So that was in response of that notice of violation, and it does not affect the total parking number. We managed to reassign and change the parking layout, so we're still staying with the same parking numbers.
Thank you very much.
And there is no variance for parking spaces.
Okay, thank you. Paulo, before I take the matter into committee, any question, any comment?
In our opinion, there are two technical minor variances. One of them is the result of a condition of the building, which encroaches into front yard setback historically, and that small canopy, by a virtue of being attached to the building, also encroaches in the front yard setback. And the garbage enclosure being open is just a matter of convenience of maintenance, operation, and security. And I think it meets all four tests, and we submit to committee for approval.
Okay, thank you very much. Members of the committee, may I have a motion, please? Member Macaulay.
Thank you. I recommend approval of these variants. The minor, they look to be an overall approval on the site, including both the usability of the site and its safety.
There are conditions of urban forestry member.
Sorry, I just saw that. Subject to the urban forestry.
Okay, may I have a seconder, please? Member McKay. We can't hear you, Member McKay.
Sorry. Yes, I second that motion to approve, subject to the urban forestry conditions.
Okay, all in favor of this motion? Motion's carried. Application for 4205 Lawrence Avenue East has been approved, subject to conditions of urban forestry. Thank you. We now
Thank
move. You're welcome. We now move to item 33. Item 33 is 3 Archimedes Court. And we have with us Anthony Bartolini.
Hello?
Hi there, Anthony, you're with us?
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. All right, just stay there for a moment. Members of the
Yeah,
committee,
sorry.
that's okay. Members of the committee, any questions for Anthony? I see none. All right. Anthony, any comments or questions or that you have at this time?
No, I'm okay. I think it's all stated in the variance application.
Okay, so no further comments, okay? Members of the committee, may I have a motion, please? This is item 33 for 3 Archimedes Court. Member Saeed, please go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move the motion for approval of item 33, and there are no conditions attached to that.
Okay, have a seconder, please. Member Taylor, please go ahead.
I'll second the motion, Madam Chair.
Thank you. All in favor of this motion? The motion is carried and the application for 3 Archimedes Court has been approved. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Good night. Item 34, we will hold it down because there are 2 registered speakers. Item 35, we will hold it down because there are a few registered speakers. Item 36, I don't think we have any members of public registered in opposition, so we're going to item 36. This is 3650 Danforth Road. We have James DiPaolo as the agent. James?
Hello, can you hear me fine?
Yes, we can hear you. Okay, thank you. Eric Turcott?
I am standing in for Eric Turcott because he had to leave for another engagement.
Okay, thank you very much. Mike Koplos. Okay, Mike is not there. Sean Thompson, the neighbor. Okay, so Sean Thompson, the neighbor, is also not there. Members of the committee, this is an application before you for 3650 Danforth Avenue. Any comments or questions for James, who is the agent? Any questions for James? I see none. James, do you have any comments at this time that you would like to say?
No further comments unless there's anything that's unclear in the materials that we provided.
Okay, so as you just saw, there were no questions for yourself. So, but I did want to give you an opportunity if you wanted to say something. So I guess you have no comments at this time?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you. All right, members of the committee? If there are no comments or questions, can I please have a motion? 3650 Danforth Avenue, and I don't think there is any condition. Member Saeed?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move the motion for approval of item number 36, and there are no conditions attached to this approval.
Okay, thank you. May I have a seconder, please? Member Macaulay?
Madam Chair, I second that motion.
Thank you. All in favor of this motion? The motion's carried. Application for 3650 Danforth Road has been approved. Thank you.
Thank you.
That brings us to the end of the items on the agenda for now, for the second time slot, which was initially scheduled for 1. I will quickly recap the items that have been held. So the first item held was 21, 23, 26, 31, 34, 35. Did I get them right? Okay, thank you. All right. Yeah, please go ahead.
Through the chair, for those viewing the YouTube stream, we're going to have to activate the part 2 of the PM session. So that would be the Committee of Adjustment Public Hearing, Scarborough, May 12th, 2021, the PM session for part 2.
Okay, we'll give a minute or two.
Yes, please.
Right.